I was in the airport, boarding pass in hand, when it happened. That little ping on my phone. A member in my community was having a technical issue with a workshop replay. Another ping. Someone asking about postponing a live event. And then the moment of truth. Did I handle it right then and there? Or did I put my phone away? Let me ask you this, friend. When was the last time you took a real vacation? And I don't mean working from a different location, checking your community just a few times each day, or scheduling content between sightseeing. I mean a proper phone away, out of office, fully present kind of break. If you're struggling to answer that question, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about how to step away from your community without everything falling apart. And I'm getting personal because guess what? I'm actually on spring break right now. That's right. This episode was recorded before I left. And as you're listening, I'm exploring Baltimore with my family, completely disconnected. So this isn't just theory, it's exactly what I implemented to make this break possible. If the idea of not checking your community for days makes you break into a cold sweat, grab your coffee and settle in. Because a true vacation isn't just possible, it's necessary. Hey there, I'm Rachel Starr, ex-wedding planner and recovering people pleaser turned your community strategist. And not too long ago, I felt a bit like Angela, planning a Dunder Mifflin party, trying to make things perfect, yet wondering if people would actually show up and enjoy themselves. That's when I discovered the real game changer, community building. It's the key ingredient to everything. Whether you're launching your next course, growing a podcast, or creating a space where people want to connect and engage. Each week, we'll roll up our sleeves and dive into the essentials of community building, from virtual events and workshop planning to fresh, innovative strategies for fostering real connections, all without the party planning community drama. Whether you're just getting started or ready to level up, you'll find practical tips, expert interviews, and real-world insights to help you craft a community that fuels your next big move. So if you're ready to get inspired and transform the way you build connections, you're in the right place, friends. Let's dive in and master the art of community together. Welcome back to Your Community Strategist. I'm your host, Rachel Starr. And today we're diving into a topic that I know hits close to home for so many of us, actually taking time off. But before we jump in, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Strategic Community Co-op. This is my monthly membership designed specifically for course creators, community builders, and podcast hosts who want to create thriving, engaged communities without the constant hustle. Inside, you'll find templates, workshops, and support systems to help you build a community that works even when you're away. Exactly what we're talking about today. Check out the link in the show notes to learn more and join us to start creating systems that give you the freedom to actually take vacation. Now, let's get back to our topic. As I mentioned, I'm currently on spring break with my family, and I spent weeks preparing my communities, my team, and honestly, myself for this time away. And it got me thinking, why is this so hard for so many of us? I mean, we tell our members to practice self care, we encourage work life balance, we talk about sustainable business practices. But when it comes to actually stepping away ourselves, suddenly there are 1,000 reasons why we can't disconnect. So today I'm sharing practical ways to prepare for time away, simple systems you can implement, and how to return without drowning in notification. Let's dive in. Let's start with the real talk. Many community builders never truly step away from their work. There's this unspoken expectation that you should always be available, always responsive, always on. But here's the truth: your community doesn't actually need you to be present 24/7 to thrive. In fact, a community that requires your constant presence isn't truly a community at all. It's a one person show with an audience. Let me share a quick story. Last summer, I took my first real vacation in years. No laptop, minimal phone checking, just me, my family, and the mountain, my happy place. I was terrified. What if everything fell apart? What if members left? What if there was a crisis? You know what happened instead? My communities survived just fine. Members stepped up, connections formed that might not have if I'd been there facilitating everything. And when I came back, I had more clarity and energy than I'd had in months. That's because breaks aren't a luxury, they're a necessity. Your brain literally needs downtime to process information and come up with creative solutions. When you're constantly in reactive mode, your leadership suffers. So, the first step to taking a real vacation isn't planning your content calendar, it's giving yourself permission to step away and trust that your community will be okay. Let's get practical. How do you actually prepare your community so that it runs smoothly while you're away? Here are some simple systems you can put in place. Number one, the pre vacation announcement. About a week before you leave, let your community know you'll be away. You don't need to apologize or make a big deal about it. Just be straightforward. Hey everyone, I'll be taking a vacation from date to date. During this time, I'll have limited access to messages and won't be as active in the community. All your regular content will still be posted, and the assistant, your team member, whoever that might be, will be checking for urgent issues. I'm looking forward to reconnecting when I return. This sets clear expectations and gives members a heads up so they're not wondering why you suddenly disappeared. Number two, schedule your essential content. You don't need to pre plan every possible post, but scheduling a few key touch points will keep the community active while you're gone. Maybe a weekly check in thread, any regular event discussions, a simple Friday wins or celebration post. For this spring break I'm on right now, I spend about 90 minutes scheduling essential posts across all the communities I work with. You don't need to overdo it, just enough to maintain some rhythm in the community. Number three, create a vacation buddy system. One game changing tip: find a vacation buddy, another community leader, or a trusted member who can keep an eye on things while you're away. This could be a team member or VA, a trusted community member who's always active, another community builder. You can even trade off and watch their community during their vacation, and they'll watch yours during yours. This doesn't have to be formal or complicated. For my vacation, I simply messaged my VA and a couple of my most engaged members across all the communities I work with saying, I'm going to be away next week. If you happen to see any questions from new members that you can help with, I'd really appreciate it. Most people were happy to help out, especially when it's a short term commitment. Number four, set up an out of office DM workflow. If you're using Circle, you can create an automated workflow that responds to direct messages while you're away. I've created a step by step tutorial on how to set this up inside the co op as a gift before leaving on vacation. It's one of my bonus round videos, setting up your out of office DM workflow. And it walks you through exactly how to create an automatic response that, one, lets members know you're away and when you'll return. Two, points them to resources that might answer their questions. Three, directs urgent matters to the right person. This single automation can save you so much mental energy because you'll know that everyone who reaches out isn't just being ignored. Now, let's talk about the part many of us struggle with most, actually disconnecting. And this is the one that I am completely guilty of. Because preparing your community is only half the battle. You also need to prepare yourself. The key is to set boundaries that work for you. There's no single right approach here, but whatever you decide, be intentional about it. For my current vacation, I opted for minimal check in. I look at my communities first thing in the morning for no more than 10 minutes, just to make sure there aren't any emergencies. I check in with my various teams, and then the phone goes away for the rest of the day. Here are a few practical boundaries you might consider. Number one, define what counts as an emergency. Be really specific about what would constitute an emergency worthy interruption for your vacation. For me, it's limited to a major technical outage affecting multiple members, a serious conflict or violation of community guidelines, or a payment or access issue that my team can't resolve. If it doesn't fall into these categories, it can wait until I return. Number two, set up email filters. A vacation email filter is a huge help. You can quickly set up a filter that sorts incoming messages while you're away. Urgent messages from team members go to a specific folder. Community notifications go to another folder. Everything else gets sorted to be dealt with later. This way, if you do need to check for something specific, you're not tempted to wait through dozens of emails that could wait. Number three, use technology to support your boundaries. Consider these tech boundaries that can make disconnecting easier. Turn off all non essential information. Remove email and community apps from your home screen. Use app timers or blockers to limit when you can access work related platforms. Set up a separate vacation screen, or for me, vacation mode. If you're an iPhone user, you really got to get on board with the modes. I have a mode for work, a mode for personal, a weekend, you name it. I have a mode set up. Remember, boundaries aren't about isolating yourself if that doesn't feel right. They're about making disconnecting a conscious choice rather than defaulting to constant connectivity. Now, coming back from vacation can be overwhelming if you don't have a plan. Let me share a few quick tips that have helped me ease back without feeling instantly stressed. One, build in a buffer day. If possible, give yourself a buffer day between returning from your trip and jumping back into work. This gives you time to catch up on basic tasks and ease back in without pressure. Number two, use a simple triage system. When you first log back in, do a quick scan for truly urgent issues first. Then categorize the rest: questions to answer, posts to respond to, emails to address, and tackle each category in order of priority. Number three, post a thoughtful "I'm back" message. Don't just dive back in silently. Create a friendly "I'm back" post that lets everyone know you've returned. Express appreciation for how your community functioned while you were away. Ask an engaging question to restart conversation. This sets a positive tone for your return and acknowledges the community's independence. All right, let's wrap this up. Taking real vacations isn't just about personal rest. It's about building a sustainable community that doesn't depend entirely on you. When you step away occasionally, you'll come back as a better leader, and your community often grows stronger in the process. I followed this approach when preparing for the spring break I'm currently enjoying. I scheduled some content, I set up my out of office workflow, briefed a few key members, and communicated clear boundaries. It wasn't perfect or comprehensive, but it was enough to allow me to truly disconnect for a few days. Now, I want to challenge you. When was the last time you took a real break? If it's been more than 6 months, open your calendar right now and block off at least 3 days, ideally a week within the next 3 months. Your community will survive. I promise you. And you'll come back better for it. If you found these strategies helpful and want to learn more about creating systems like the out of office DM workflow I mentioned, I'd love to have you join us inside the Strategic Community Co op. It's filled with practical resources, templates, and strategies to help you build a community that thrives, even when you take a well deserved break. Check out the link in the show notes to learn more. Before I go, I'm curious, what's your biggest fear about stepping away from your community? Send me a message on Instagram at your community strategist, and I'd be happy to share some specific strategies to help. That's all for today's episodes. Thank you for tuning in to your community strategist. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you found this helpful, please share it with a fellow community builder who might need to hear this message. Until next time, or after spring break, keep building, keep connecting, and yes, keep resting. Your community will thrive all the more because of it. Bye, friends.